PC gaming has a reputation of being expensive, and while it certainly can be, it doesn't always have to be. That's why today we're putting together a system out of mostly used parts from older generations, a couple of new items from Black Friday sales, and we're going to see what kind of performance we get for not a whole lot of money. For the main guts of the system, shout out to Dan for sending in his old motherboard and CPU and stuff. This was from an iBuyPower pre-built system. And this is an Asus H310 motherboard, and it has an i7 8700 non-K CPU inside, so that's 6 cores, 12 threads, 8th gen Intel. This board doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi, but there's a little USB thing here that I think is a Wi-Fi dongle. And there's also 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM in here. Nothing too crazy, but it also came with a deep cool CPU cooler. It's kind of similar to the Intel stock design, but a little bit beefier, so it shouldn't be a problem for the 8700 non-K. If you watched my recent HP Victus video, that came with a 32 gig kit of Corsair RAM in it. However, that motherboard did not have XMP or anything, so it was running at 2133 megahertz, and on the Ryzen system, that was kind of an issue. But we'll be able to use this 32 gig kit on this motherboard, and although it's H310, I think that means it's only going to go up to 2666 megahertz, but really that's not as detrimental on this Intel generation as it was on that 5600G. This iBuyPower system originally shipped with a GTX 1070 for the video card, but also from the previous HP Victus video, I've got that RTX 3060. It's a single fan OEM model, and we're going to use that in this build. Then to finish it off, we did get a few new parts on some Black Friday sales. We've got a 1TB Team Group MP33 SSD. This is just a really affordable SSD. Then for the power supply, we've got an MSI Mag 650, and it was also on a Black Friday sale. You might be able to get a different brand for like $5 cheaper, but I would just honestly not buy a bottom tier power supply. That way you don't have to worry about messing up any of your components. It's not the place to save $5 or $10. We did save some money on the case though. This was the cheapest ATX case with fans that I could find a decent deal on. So I paid about $40. This is a Gamidas, I think that's how you say it. No, Gamdias case. And it came with 4 RGB fans in it, and I bought it open box for about $40. So that's a pretty hard price to beat. There were a couple of things that didn't come with the motherboard though. There were no screws with it, so I have some screws from other motherboards that I think will fit, but I only have 5, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose and leave one of the holes not screwed in. Shouldn't be a problem. And then it also doesn't have an I/O shield, which that kind of sucks. I did order one off eBay for like $4, but it's not here right now, so we're going to assemble this. I will get Windows installed, get the drivers going, get some games installed, run benchmarks, record some gameplay, and then once the I/O shield comes in, I'll insert some footage after the build of the system finally together with the I/O shield, with the RGB fans lit up, and show you what it looks like. But with all that said, let's get this thing put together and see what it can do. Okay, starting off, we've got the Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail benchmark, and I'm running this on the high settings, but with DLSS enabled from the menu. And our budget PC does pretty well with this MMO at these settings, getting around 100 frames in most of the scenes. This isn't the hardest game to run, but it is somewhat popular, and you'll have a pretty good time if you wanted to play it on a system like this. We got a very high score with over 14,000 points, and that's not too shabby for this benchmark. Next up, Forza Horizon 5, and we're running this on the high preset with DLSS set to quality, and we're getting over 60 frames per second, so definitely playable, closer to 70 or 80 most of the time. Again, this isn't the hardest game to run, but I don't think you'd be disappointed playing it on a system like this. Next we have Helldivers 2, and we're running this with quality DLSS, or render scale, and a mix of settings, mostly medium, some stuff high, some stuff low. And in the gameplay, we're getting over 60 frames per second, in that 70 to 80 range most of the time. And I think most gamers would find this performance pretty decent for, going out and spreading some managed democracy. Now we have Elden Ring, running this at 1440p on the high preset, and we're getting a fairly solid 60 frames per second. This game has a cap, so it doesn't go any higher than that, but 60 frames is all I need to get served in a timely fashion. Now we have Hogwarts Legacy. We're running this on, it's set for 4K, but we have DLSS on performance, so it's basically running it at 1080p. Then we have a mix of settings here. Definitely have ray tracing off for this hardware. And here in one of the hardest parts of the game to run, downtown Hogsmeade, we're getting a 60-ish frames per second experience. It feels pretty decent running around here in the city, and when you're out in the world doing the gameplay most of the time, you're going to get more stable and solid performance even than this. But I think that this mix of settings and hardware, this would definitely be a passable playing experience. Next is Cyberpunk 2077. We're running this on the quality DLSS. It's set for 1440p and the high preset, and we're getting in excess of 60 frames per second. This isn't the highest end rig, and we don't have path tracing or anything like that turned on, but for just playing through Cyberpunk, I think this looks pretty good, and it would be pretty decent, at least better than consoles or anything like that. Well, I accidentally deleted the B-roll that I took after I got it put together, so here's a video I took on my phone. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. For the budget and the used parts and everything, we still got really stable performance, and it looks pretty nice too. Something like this will get your foot in the door for getting into PC gaming without having to really break your bank. I hope this was helpful or at least entertaining. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next video.